BXB. It's in the game!
Dynasty Warriors is one of those series of games, one of those massively long-running franchises that I've been peripherally aware of for many, many years. I've dabbled over the years, I've played a little here and there, though I couldn't tell you which ones in particular I've given a go to. I think this one here with Dynasty Warriors 9 is the first time in quite a while I've properly sat down with this game, but I've done a little bit of research prior to this review, and I think it's fair to say, in many ways, Dynasty Warriors 9 is a lot more of what we've come to expect, but also hugely disappointing, because there's a lot of promise here, but it doesn't really live up to any of it. So without further ado, and while you enjoy easily the best part of the game visually, which is the intro sequence, sadly none of the rest of the game looks anywhere near as good as this, as you'll soon see. Let's get into my review of Dynasty Warriors 9. Now, Dynasty Warriors 9's big difference to the previous games is that we have this sort of open world. However, before you even get to the open world, you have to dig through oodles and oodles of the same setup and the same story with the same bad voice acting we've come to expect from the Dynasty Warriors game. Yes, it is once again the ancient conflict of China based around the Yellow Turban Rebellion. Ooh, yay. Yes, we once again have flipping hundreds of characters, it feels like, to choose from, and yet none of them feel distinct enough or interesting enough to actually make you want to play as them, which is quite the feat itself. So yeah, you've got this sort of political machinations, you've got this big overarching battle map, and in addition we've got this open world that is brown, and it is grey, and it is boring. One of the things I remember about the Dynasty Warriors games was that you could get into these big, over-the-top action sequences in which you're mowing down hundreds of enemies and occasionally fighting slightly tougher dudes with special attacks quickly and easily. That is not the case in Dynasty Warriors 9. You spend so much time traversing this goddamn awful open world just to get to those fights, which aren't even that good. The combat is so simple, it's so surface and easy to get into that it's boring. And in addition to that, we've got like layers and layers of boring interconnected systems. There's crafting, there's trading, there's managing the battle map. None of this is fun to do. And then you've got this wrapper, this same story that's been played out so many times at this point, and every time you play the story, and in which you can play the story in many different characters, different perspectives, but it's just rehashing the same boring beats we've come to know and expect from the Dynasty Warriors game. Now, this is a game on the current generation of hardware, so we're talking Xbox One and PS4. There's no X-enhanced stuff, there's no PS4 Pro enhanced stuff. The textures and the models look terrible. The effects look terrible. The game sounds bad. It looks bad. It plays bad. There is almost nothing to recommend here in Dynasty Warriors. The only thing I think it has going for it is the fact that it just seems to do the same thing it's always done. And there is a fan base for that. There must be, because we wouldn't be onto a Dynasty Warriors 9 if there wasn't some kind of established fervent fan. A fan who can look past the jank, who can look past the poor gameplay. When you look against the kind of combat games that we have nowadays, the Bayonettas of the world, the Witches of the world, things like that, where they're really engaging and challenging and make you think strategically about your sword and sorcery combat. There is just nothing here. Even as a button masher, it's poor. You know, I'd rather play a side-scrolling 2D beat-em-up like Streets of Rage and probably find that combat more engaging than the stuff we've got in Dynasty Warriors. Yeah, just throwing this into an open world doesn't make it a good game. Just because open world games are popular doesn't mean Dynasty Warriors should be one of them. And like I said, there are so many interconnected, unnecessary, confusing systems on play here. Now, I'm sure if you're a Dynasty Warriors veteran, you're going to find them relatively easy to get hold of in your brain, really easy to understand. But as someone who's relatively new to the series, which I imagine a lot of people would be, as this is only like the second proper Dynasty Warriors release on the current generation, you're just going to be lost. You're going to be lost and in desperate search of fights which don't come about often enough. Yeah, this game is bad. It's just not a good game. I'm not going to keep on harping on about the problems of Dynasty Warriors. To a degree, if you've bought this game, you're either a fan or you're at least aware of the type of game you're dealing with. There is some fun to be had here when you really dig, when you really delve deeply. The combat, when you're fully immersed in these huge scale battles, there's not a lot else like that out there. It is fun in a way because the spectacle can be kind of fun because it's so crazy and over the top. You're pulling off these mad powers, you're doing these juggle attacks and stuff like that. But to me, there's just not enough meat on these somewhat slight bones. And this bloody awful presentation is such a bad idea on the part of Koei Tecmo to do this. I'm just thinking, go back to the old way of the new Dynasty Warriors. There was some promise here. I was looking forward to seeing how this was going to work in an open world. It doesn't. So because of that, 2 out of 5 stars.
BXB. It's in the game.